Hello, I'm Heather Forgan, an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator based in Scotland. My website is www.stampwithnellie.com. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today's project is this little box here, which actually contains one of these little body sprays. And because they're a kind of botanical theme to the body sprays, I thought I would use a kind of botanical paper as well. If you actually read my blog post yesterday, it was I was in a blog hop and we were all using our favourite products from this year's annual catalogue, and one of mine is pretty much this entire Forever Greenery suite. So it's no surprise that I'm using it again for today's project. So to start off with, we need a piece of garden green card that measures 8 inches by 6 inches. I've also already cut the designer series paper, which is the Forever Greenery paper, and on the original box I used that side, so this time I'm just going to flip it over and use this. So we've got 4 pieces that measure 4 inches by 1 1/8, and 2 other pieces that are 1 1/8 by 1 1/8 of an inch. Okay, so we'll put that to the side until we need that. And I'll bring in the scoreboard. Oops, sorry. On the long side, we want to score at 1/2 inch. And all of these dimensions and the products will be in my blog post, and there'll be a link to that in the description for this video. So 1/2 inch, 1 7/8, 6 1/8, and 7 1/2. Turn that round, and I'm going to do it that way. And then we want to score at 1 3/8, 2 3/4, 4 1/8, and 5 1/2. There we are. And that's all our scoring done. So as you'll see, the top sections and the bottom sections are identical. The only thing that's different is we've got this skinny panel down the side. So before I start cutting, I'm going to furnish all of the score lines. Okay, so we've got a skinny panel here. Everything that we're doing at this end of the card, we want to do exactly the same at the other end. So I'm taking out that bottom panel there with a little wedge into this side panel here. I'm cutting straight up all of the score lines along the bottom. I'm going to flip that round and do exactly the same on this side. Take that bit out and cut straight up the score lines. That's fine. Okay, so this is going to be the tab that closes our box. We're going to put it like that, which means that this bit is going to be the back, and that's actually going to be lid. So I want to keep the bit, let me just double check that again. So actually, no, that's the back. That's the back. Yeah. So I want to keep that bit because that's going to be my lid. That bit and that bit are going to be flaps to the lid, and this bit needs to go completely. So that's my lid. I'm going to keep that, and I'm going to chop that bit in half and wedge it. Like that. I'm going to take this one off completely. And I'm going to chop that one in half and wedge it. We're going to do exactly the same on this side, so I'm not going to do anything with that one at the minute. I'm going to chop this one in half and wedge it. I'm going to take this one off and I'm going to chop that one in half and wedge it. Okay. Now the only other little bit of trimming that we want to do is just to take a tiny little wedge off these little flaps, because those are going to tuck in to form our lid and our base. Okay. Now what I want to do is add on my pieces of designer series paper. And these just go in the middle of the main panel. There we go. 2 more of these. Just a small amount of glue is sufficient. You don't want to soak your paper and then potentially have it wrinkle on you. Nobody likes wrinkles. Yeah. I'm going to put glue on this panel here, and that's going to help me join up the box. And that meets perfectly. Okay. The great thing about these boxes is that you can make them in advance and leave them, and you can have them lying flat until you want to use them for whatever gift that you've got. Fold in the 2 bits at the bottom, and then that's your base. Fold in there, and that's your top. So I want to put a little bit of paper on the top. And just for completeness, I'm going to put another bit on the bottom. If you were gifting this as a box facing that way, then obviously you wouldn't need to put a piece of paper on the bottom of the box because nobody would see it. But as you'll see, I decided that I wanted to use it that way round instead. So I'll just open that up again, pop in my little gift. There we go. So the next bit that I want to do, and what I've just realised, is that I'm using Very Vanilla there, but obviously it's got a Whisper White background, so it's not going to tie in quite as nicely as this one did, but we'll just go with it. So what I've used is actually some of the Forever Gold Laser Cut Speciality Designer Series paper. These, you get sheets of them that pop out so that you've got card fronts that you can either use the shiny side or the matte side there. And all I've done with one of them that was a grid pattern was just chop that down to size, so that fits quite nicely just in there. But to add that on, what I did was just put some adhesive there. Let me get my silicone mat so that I don't stick myself to the desk. I thought I'd lost that there. Pop that in the middle, and this is why I'm using the mat, because obviously you've got some sticky on there, and I'm just going to use that adhesive again. I've cut a smaller piece just to cover the sticky on the back here as well, so that that's well sandwiched in between and is quite sturdy to go onto my box. I've used this beautiful ribbon. It's really rather soft, and this comes with this beautiful gold twine as part of the same pack. So I'm using bits of both of them for the closure on my box as well. So I'm just going to add enough ribbon, keeping that flat, and I can chop that off there, and I can trim the ends once we're finished with that. And instead of tying that in a bow, which does tie beautifully, I'm using the gold twine, and I'm just going to tie that round there. Now this does fray at the ends quite a lot, and I don't have any problem with that at all, except for when I'm trying to tie it. But it does have a nice effect when it does start to fray as well. So I'm just going to tie that just now quite tight into that bow. And then what I can do is chop that excess off just now, and then I can actually just tighten it by pulling those two bits of the ribbon like that. And I've twisted the ribbon, but I'm sure you'll forgive me for that bit. Try that again, like that. Okay, and then just to complete the piece, add that bit over the ribbon, which does mean that you can still take the ribbon off if you want to. And I'm just gonna chop those two tails down like that. Can get rid of my sticky mat now, and that's about right. So just tighten that again, and there we have it. Two beautiful little boxes with little body sprays in it, but you could fill that with chocolates or whatever you wanted to gift. I hope you've enjoyed that project. If you have, then please subscribe to my channel and click on the little bell so that you get notified of all other videos that I publish. I will be back with another one for you in just a few days' time. Until then, keep safe, take care, bye bye.